Today we're going to look at measures of spread. Range and interquartile range show how spread out a set of data is. This can be very useful to see whether they're all clustered around the mean, or whether they're really spread out, whether there's a great diversity in the range of data, or whether it's all very focused and very centralized around one point. So the range, very easy to calculate. The range is just the highest value minus the lowest value. So it's the difference between the greatest value and the smallest value. So it's just highest value minus lowest value. The interquartile range is a little bit more difficult to calculate, but it gives a much better kind of idea about exactly how spread out it is, whether it's spread out towards one end of the higher or lower end. The range really gives us just the difference between it, but the interquartile range really tells us where around the median the majority of the data values are clustered, whether they're really spread out in that middle section or whether they're very close to the median. So the interquartile range, and we can call it the IQR, is found by following these steps. So firstly, we need to sort the values. So the interquartile range is found in a similar way to how we find the median. In fact, we're finding the median of two subsets and then finding the difference between those two sets. That's why it's interquartile range. We're dividing it into four. So to calculate the median, we divide it into two. We find the middle bit and find the median in between the two halves of the data. For the interquartile range, we need to divide it into quarters. So we divide it again up. So we sort the values from lowest to highest, from the lowest number all the way up to the highest number. If there's an odd number of values, we can remove the middle value, don't worry about it, the median. We can just put a line straight through it and we split the data in half. So we have the upper half and the lower half. Then if we find the median of the lower half, that's the lower quartile, the lowest quarter of the data essentially. And if we split the upper half in two, directly in two, and find the median of the upper half, that's the upper quartile. So we just need to find the median of both these sets. Then the interquartile range, the IQR, is just the upper quartile, UQ, there, the upper quartile, minus the lower quartile. So it's the median of the upper set of data, taking away the median of the lower set of data. Let's have a look at a couple of examples so you can see what I mean. So here we've got an example where we need to find the range and interquartile range of this set of data. There are 2, 4, 6, 8 different values that we've got here. So we firstly, we can find the range and interquartile range at the same time. It's easiest enough for us to just arrange it, find all the information we need, and then calculate the range and interquartile range. So if we've got them arranged from lowest to highest, here we've got the lowest values 1, then 2, 4, 8, 10, 13, 14, 15. We've got 8 different numbers there. And that's the highest number. So the median here would be in between 8 and 10. That's where the median would be. We need to split this into two sets of data. Okay, we split it in two. So there's the lower half and the upper half. Notice I've marked the lowest value. The lowest value is 1, and I've marked the highest value. So the lowest is on the left here, highest is on the right, and that'll help us calculate the range later. So here we've split it in two. Now we need to find the median of the lower set of data, and that's the lower quartile. And if we find the median of the upper half, that's the upper quartile. So here the lower quartile is going to be the median here. And the median is going to be in between 2 and 4. So to find the median in between 2 and 4, 2 plus 4 divided by 2 is 3. Okay, so that's the median of this lower set of data, and that's going to be our lower quartile. So our lower quartile is 3. To look at our upper quartile, to find our upper quartile, we need to find the middle value here in between 13 and 14. So the middle value in between 13 and 14, add them together and divide by 2, 13 and a half. So now we've got all of the information we need. We've got our lowest number and our highest to find our range, and we've got our lower quartile and our upper quartile to find our interquartile range. So you can see, finding those quartiles, we've actually split it into 4. So here, is the lower quartile, and that's split the lower half in two, and here's the upper quartile. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 even distributions of our data. So we can actually calculate now the range and interquartile range. The range is the highest minus lowest. 15 minus 1, that's 14. So the range is 14. The interquartile range is just the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. So 13.5 minus 3, 10.5. So that is the interquartile range and the range of our data. Looking at another example now, we've got a different set of data here, and it might be a little bit trickier because we've got some negative numbers. So we need to do exactly the same thing we did with the last set of data. We're asked to find the range and interquartile range of this data. And so we can do that. We just need to order our data from lowest to highest. So the lowest number is -3. -3 is a bit smaller than -2. So -3 is the lowest number, and put them all in order all the way up to the highest number, 11 there. So we need to split the set of data in two, and because we've got an odd number, we can cancel out the middle number, okay, the actual median. Median here is 8, so we can cross that out and just look at the lower half and the upper half. That way it's going to be fair. We're not putting that 8 as part of the lower half and part of the upper half to make it fair. Make both the lower and upper halves the same number of data points. So here we just need to look at the lower half to find the lower quartile, and the lower quartile is going to be the median of that lower half, the very middle number. So the middle number here of this lower half is 4. That's the lower quartile. The upper quartile here is the median of this upper set of data here. So that's going to be 9. The number right in the middle there, upper quartile. So range here is the highest minus the lowest. So the highest is 11 and the lowest is -3. So that's 11 minus -3. Remember, when we subtract a negative, it's the same as adding, okay? Adding the opposite. So 11 plus 3 is going to be exactly the same answer as 11 minus -3. So the range is 14. The range is 14 from the lowest to the highest number. The interquartile range is going to be the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. And the upper quartile is 9, the lower quartile is 4. So the upper quartile minus the lower quartile, 9 minus 4 is 5. The interquartile range for our set of data here is 5.